Colleagues, if we can make a start to this Cabinet meeting, welcome. Start with apologies. We have apologies from Councillor Graves. Are there any other apologies anybody wishes to put forward? Okay. There are no late items, no petitions, and there are no urgent items to which call-in will not apply. Any declarations of interest? Okay. And minutes of the meeting held on 7th September, so we can just approve that. So they moved. It's a true record of that meeting. Okay, can I have a show of hands to approve them? Okay, thank you. Okay, there are no recommendations from Corporate Scrutiny and Governance Board. Moving on to the first key decision, realignment of Victory Road, and over to Councillor Rawson, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm delighted to be bringing this report to Cabinet to support Rolls-Royce in their ambitions for their new aerospace campus here in Derby. Diverting Victory Road is absolutely essential to their plans to create a campus and will lever in hundreds of millions of pounds of investment from Rolls-Royce and to help secure thousands of jobs in Derby for years to come. It's been quite a long period of time to get to this point. That officers have been working on this particular project. So well done to all of them who've been working on what's quite a complex project. Just to give a bit more information about the actual proposals, you'll find those at 4.1 in the papers. So the proposed realignment of the eastern end of Victory Road, as I say, facilitates major investment from Rolls-Royce for their aerospace campus, and will also help offset some of the effects of increased traffic arising from Infinity Park Way. The proposed works will include the closure of the eastern end of Victory Road, which dissects the Rolls-Royce site, and that's on your maps. That's the pink part, and the construction of a new road around the perimeter of a Rolls-Royce site on land that's transferred into council ownership, and that's the blue section. Following completion, the eastern end of Victory Road will be closed to traffic, subject to a stopping up order, and the former high-rise land transferred to Rolls-Royce will in effect become a private road within their campus. Planning consent for the proposed works and outline consent for the Rolls-Royce campus was approved on the 9th of September 2015, and as I say, that colour map that's been distributed, Chair, shows the alignments on a plan. So I really recommend this to Council Cabinet to support. It's really vital in terms of jobs and growth in Derby and securing Rolls-Royce and their investment in the city for years to come.
Councillor Repton.
Yes, this really is incredibly positive and exciting news, and the essential elements being the realignment of the road. As we can see in 4.2 of the papers that we have, what will flow from this: 4,500 new jobs, new homes, accelerated delivery, 382 new homes, increase in bus use 20%, and the positives just keep flowing from there. This really is an important milestone in this development, and also I believe in cementing the relationship that we have with a world-class Rolls-Royce company here in this city, a flagship company not only in this country but in the world. So this is brilliant news for the people of Derby, and in these difficult, challenging times of Brexit means Brexit, I think this is a really positive way forward. So I certainly, and the rest of I know my colleagues will welcome this, as I'm sure the people of Derby will, Chair. Thank you.
Yes, if we can just highlight the journey we've taken in terms of building the partnership with Rolls-Royce. Back when I first became leader, I found myself in a position where Rolls-Royce had announced staffing restructuring. Quite an emotive issue, obviously. There were some concerns at the time. What does this mean to Rolls-Royce in terms of their future in our city? It was clearly a big concern to the city and also importantly to the staff that work there. Many of us know people that would work there, whether they be family or friends or residents that we represent. So really Rolls-Royce went through a bit of a time during 2014-15. So it was really reassuring when they came to us with plans. They came and briefed us in our cabinet meeting, if you remember, with these exciting plans. And after that meeting, we made it clear to the Rolls-Royce executive team that we would leave no stone unturned in realising, their ambition to update their campus. And the campus, just to kind of use one of the examples which Rolls-Royce talked about, was the wiring there goes back to the 1930s. In some cases. I mean, it's so old, they simply can't replace it anymore. And the kind of environment, the conditions that some of their staff are working in does go back to the pre-war years. And that's at the same time, if you juxtapose it to a situation where they are building brand new facilities in America, in other parts of the world where obviously Rolls-Royce as a global company have expanded to, that are modern, high-tech and state-of-the-art. And actually, the home of Rolls-Royce here, we've still got very historic and sentimental buildings, but the reality is, they're past their sell-by date and they need to be updated. And the fact that Rolls-Royce have made a commitment through their business plan, a financial commitment to update their campus here in the city, it means we can just breathe a sigh of relief and actually work with them. And I made it a priority, and I said it to the Rolls-Royce executive team, as you recall, Cabinet, that we would make everything available to them. I made our officers, our senior officers, the chief exec, made it clear that this was a priority for this administration. And I'm really pleased that actually, the first part of that campus now is starting to take shape, and obviously the infrastructure is now going to be put in place. So onwards and upwards, and in the next couple of years we'll start to see that aerospace campus develop. And I think it really is an exciting opportunity for the current workforce, but also safeguarding jobs for generations to come. So I want to just thank Cabinet for obviously their support and the efforts in realising that, particularly obviously Asif Afzal, Cabinet Member for Neighbourhoods, who's obviously leading it from a highways point of view, and obviously Councillor Rawson from a regen point of view. So we're really starting to get there now. So and that's another example of this administration, taking the city forward and safeguarding jobs. Right, any further contributions or questions from anyone? Okay, so Cabinet to support the recommendations are set out in the report. Can I have a show of hands, please? Okay, thank you. Okay, item 9, period 4 revenue budget monitoring 2016-17. Cabinet are asked to note the forecast monitoring position for 2016-17 and the delivery of savings in year. The latest forecast position shows an overspend of £1.9 million, predominantly due to increasing costs in community-based adult care services and the rising costs of looked after and disabled children. The overall position is offset by some forecast savings in debt management and housing benefit recovery. Cabinet are also asked to approve the use of reserves in section 5 of the report. It is currently forecast that 90% of savings identified in 2015-16 will be delivered in year, with the remainder to be delivered. Officers continue to work to bring the final year and position into balance. The recommendations are set out in paragraphs 2.1 to 2.7. Councillor Holmes, please.
Thank you, Chair. Just three queries, or two or three queries, please, Chair. On page 4, could I ask for an explanation of the 200,000 pressure for NDR, non-domestic rates, I believe, on the arena? First of all, thanks.
Thank you, Chair. When we set the budget for NNDR, we believed it would be significantly less for the arena, but it's the valuation office that set the rationale for what the cost would be, and we believe now it's going to be £200,000 more. So it's subject to the VOA giving us the final figure for that, because obviously it was something that they didn't know what it would be originally, because it's quite an iconic and different type of building. Per year.
Thank you, Chair. And the second item, can I ask on page 6, the 47,000 saving for the withdrawal of council funding for school crossing patrols, could I just have some clarity, if possible, as to what that means? Are you saying at the moment that the school crossing patrols will continue until a decision is made of potential alternatives? If you've got a steer on that.
We've set a budget based upon savings as a result of government cuts, which means a number of our discretionary services, and unfortunately school crossing patrol services, bizarrely, is deemed by government to be a discretionary service, is part of our, the service is part of our savings that we've actually set. Now, that's not a desirable position, I'm sure we'll all agree, for any of us, but we are working behind the scenes to see if we can safeguard the school crossing patrol service. And
Thank you,
we're
Chair. And the final query, same, page 6 again. Could I ask for a little bit of clarity on the education campaigns to encourage recycling and composting of waste? So is that an actual saving that has been made, or is it saying that the delivery of those campaigns will deliver those savings?
Yes, Chair. What that's essentially saying is that's an estimate of how much we believe can be saved following the education campaigns.
Okay, any other? Councillor Skelton, please.
Thank you. Just some questions about the reserves. In point 5, first one, the use of the budget risk reserve to fund early termination of automatic public conveniences contracts. How early, i.e. when was it due to terminate and when will it terminate?
Chair, my understanding on this one is there are still some number of years to run on this, probably 3 or 4 years, and this would get us out of the contracts early. It was a 5-year contract.
How many units are there?
3, Chair.
3. And where are they?
Chair, I believe them to be one at Chaddeston, one in Alveston and one somewhere on London Road, but a little over. One of the members are probably better placed to say than I, but yeah.
Moving down, the Better Care Fund reserve. I understand that the Better Care Fund is to be used for integration work between health and social care. I would like an explanation as to how, obviously, I presume these temporary staff will be doing that, as well as obviously the IT system being introduced.
Yeah, if I can clarify that, the Better Care Fund is around integration. It's also around improvement in relation to the integration between adult social care and health. So we're on a phase programme in relation to Liquid Logic. This is moving into the next phase of the work that we need to do in adult social care.
I presume for the other uses that have other 75,000 and 233,000, that's also the same broad use, is it, of the money?
Yes.
How much is in this reserve anyway, if these items are taken out?
I can get those figures, Chair, for the Council. I believe it's 1.3 million, but I'll clarify that for you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Skelton. Any other questions, contributions from anyone? So, Cabinet to support the recommendations as set out in the report. Can I have a show of hands, please? Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 10, the report asks for approval to award a grant to the National Offenders Management Service to support their work as offenders are released from prison, and to approve changes to the capital programme, which I would like to comment on. The climate change ERDF scheme change is simply a technical movement, as we are still expecting grant approval in order to help support businesses to implement low carbon technology. The £4 million reallocation of the city centre regeneration scheme will support our proposals for the Beckett Well area redevelopment. and the allocation of £1.6 million and the LGF funding will deliver some key programmes in 2016-17, including significant improvements in and around Infinity Park. The recommendations are set out in paragraphs 2.1 to 2.2. Any questions or contributions from anyone? Okay.
In terms of the ERDF scheme, is there any particular reason why that was delayed?
Chair, as we've said, it's a technical reason. What we did was added this to the capital programme when we believed the bid was going in and was likelihood that this would happen. At this stage, what we've decided to do is take it out of the capital programme till that's been confirmed, and as soon as it's confirmed, we'll hope to put it back in, depending on which year it arises. So it's not necessarily a delay; it's taking it out of the programme till we put it back.
Mr. Youth Mayor, is that okay? Any other questions, contributions from anyone? Okay, Cabinet to approve the recommendations as set out in the report. Can I have a show of hands, please? Thank you. Okay, good stuff. Okay, agenda item number 11, local growth funded projects. Councillor Rawson, please.
Thank you, Chair. The Local Enterprise Partnership Infrastructure and Investment Board recently changed the funding arrangements at its meeting on the 7th of September, and this report is updating Cabinet on proposed alterations to the funding arrangements and to seek Cabinet approval to progress the schemes, notably Becketwell, the A52 Wyvern Junction improvements, and also our City, Our River project. Not too much change really in terms of the delivery of the projects, but just seeking Cabinet approval following these changes that were made by the Local Enterprise Partnership to allow us to continue and to progress these projects, Chair.
Councillor Holmes, please.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick one. Page 6, it talks about the A52 Wyvern Junction. Could I ask what the Council's current rating, if you like, of the level of risk of failure to comply with the LEP funding commitments is? Thank you.
Christine.
I think we believe it's a relatively low level of risk. I mean, we won't enter into progressing projects unless we feel that the funding is secure and we can deliver the project.
Councillor Holmes, anything else? Okay. Any questions, contributions from anyone else? Okay. Cabinet to approve the recommendations as highlighted in the report. Show of hands, please. Thank you. Okay, next one is number 12, D20 European Structural Investment Fund. Councillor Rawson, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. We have received confirmation from government recently in terms of providing some reassurance, at least, around European funds following Brexit. So we do have a number of schemes that are progressing, and we are able to continue with. You'll see those schemes, more information on each one. 4.2 is Ensite Phase 2. 4.3 Derby and Derbyshire Energy Efficiency Project. 4.4 D2N2 Growth and Innovation Programme. And 4.5 the Better Opportunities Towards Work scheme. So all of those are around working with local businesses to support them in creating jobs and improving the efficiency and improving those local businesses in the city. So the recommendations are to agree that the Council accepts this external European funding, to agree the Council's match funding, and to progress the projects, Chair, which I fully endorse.
Okay, Councillor Repton, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I welcome the report. I'll start off with a bit of levity. Could the Conservative leader opposite let us know whether Brexit means Brexit, what on earth Brexit means. Getting on to the more serious point, what lobbying, if any, are him and his colleagues doing to ensure that Brexit, no matter what it means, won't mean to Toyota recamping to somewhere else in Europe in terms of threatening jobs in this area? There are a number of questions here that I think our Conservative colleagues have got to answer in terms of giving reassurance to the people in this area and to those companies as well that seek it about future investment in this area, whether it be Rolls-Royce, whether it be Bombardier, or whether it be Toyota or SAFE. They have a responsibility, having pursued that path, to ensure that we have that security, and the people that work in those industries also have that security of jobs. And we want to be reassured that they're doing everything that they can to make sure that those plants stay here in the Derby area. Can we have these reassurances, Chair?
It's not the appropriate place to be quizzing the leader of the
It's always a good place.
Absolutely, but so I'm sure he's happy to have a chinwag with you outside the meeting. But look, on a serious point, you know, the Prime Minister has spoken, and you know, clearly we have to work in a post-Brexit era now, and that is one thing I think we've got to try to put party politics aside and work in the national interest, and hopefully we can do that and try and get the best deal that we can to make sure that we keep every business safe and happy and prosperous here on our doorstep. There we are. Absolutely. Well, my God. Well, there we are. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay, so any other questions or contributions, anyone on this report? Okay, so recommendations are moved. Can I have a show of hands, please, and support? Thank you very much. The final report for tonight is the annual report summary, which highlights against each priority in the council plan, against safe, strong, ambitious and resilient, to give examples of where we as a council have made a difference to the lives of the people in the city. This is despite significant budget cuts to services. The details are in the report. The annual report is there for people to read, and that will obviously be available as a public document. Any questions or contributions from anyone on that? Councillor Skelton, please.
I presume this has to be read in conjunction with the two audit reports.
Absolutely, that is part of the report. Any questions or contributions from anyone? Okay. Cabinet to approve the annual report. Can I show of hands, please? Thank you very much. Okay, thank you for your attendance at this Cabinet meeting.